Okay, so this is day 5 of my Year with God journey. Today's reading was out of Exodus, and it had to do with the giving of the Ten Commandments. The focus of the reading was on the fact that Israel was delivered before the Ten Commandments were given. And the focus of the commentary was that grace comes before law, and that what we often perceive as law or dictate by God should flow naturally out of an attitude of thanksgiving for what God has already done for us. So that was the emphasis of the reading. As I was going about my practice today of trying to be aware of the presence of God, aware of God throughout the day, on my way home I was thinking of the fact that I had had a lot of distractions, and I hadn't been as aware of the presence of God, and it just got me thinking a little bit about the meaning of life with God. And I tend to think of that as being aware of the presence of God and enjoying the presence of God and things like that. And as I was doing that, my thoughts went back to the other day when I had the opportunity to talk with a young man who was considering getting involved in ministry as a way of helping people. And I remember at that time thinking how interesting it was that I didn't really feel that feeling of being close and connected with God, but at the same time I was very aware of the presence of God, even though it didn't feel like the warm, fuzzy, connected with God feeling that we so often pursue. And so I was reflecting on that on my way home tonight. I was thinking about the whole idea of a life with God, or as Renovar puts it in some of their material, the with God life. And when I think of that thought, my first thought has always been the idea of that feeling of connectedness with God, that feeling of being in God's presence and enjoying the presence of God. And that's what I've always or frequently associated with the idea of a life with God, or the with God life. But as I was reflecting on that this afternoon, I was thinking back to that other experience, and it just kind of opened my eyes that a life with God is a lot more than that. Because sometimes life with God means being involved in God's plan and God's purpose, and working with God and being involved in the things that God is involved in, and those don't always lead to points of warm, fuzzy feelings and feeling connected with God and feeling those kind of emotional experiences that we sometimes associate with life with God. But it encompasses a lot more than that. And that was kind of my thoughts throughout the day. So tomorrow we'll take the next step.